All right, our studio guest is the first national chairman of a political party called Nigeria Youth Democratic Party, and his name is Barry Avotu Johnson. A very good morning to you, Mr. Barry, and thank you so very much for joining us on today's program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, without wasting much time, we are examining the issue of the reworked version of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill that was passed into law and signed subsequently by President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, as a Nigerian, first and foremost, let me find out from you, how do you feel that Nigeria now has a new electoral law to facilitate the electoral process in the country, especially ahead of 2023 general elections?
Well, for me, as a person and as being the national chairman of Nigeria's most fearful party called the Nigeria Youth Democratic Party, at this time, I'll tell you that practically the journey to reinstate integrity in our elections have been given the impetus by that law. So practically, we're happy about it, but we are not happy for the wastage of time and delay by the president for signing such issues that could have taken just 48 hours in a normal condition.
But you should know that government has processes and procedure. Would you have expected the president to append his signature on a bill that he did not thoroughly go through?
Well, I think for what should be done, must be done as fast as possible. What matters the most should be taken into consideration at all costs. We don't need to wait for 30 days. We don't need to wait for the deadline to come to the front before we take decisions. We don't need to be forced to do the duties that to take decisions that could affect the development of Nigeria. Alacrity and urgency in most cases plays a very positive role in the issues of democracy across the world. So these issues shouldn't have taken more than 48 hours.
Now, as far as that bill has now been put to place, a lot of people still have issues about the implementation of policies and programs in Nigeria. They believe that some of the lofty programs and ideas of government and agencies, ministries, departments and agencies of government have not been adequately implemented, and it leaves one to wonder if the Electoral Act Amendments law now will be implemented to the letter. So, as somebody who has been at the forefront of politics, do you think this is going to be one of those laws that will be haphazardly implemented, or it's going to be implemented because of the urgency deserves?
Well, I think the current bill plays a positive role in the development of our democracy, and this is going to foster credibility, integrity, and for politicians, as a practitioner of politics in Nigeria, to participate well. But when you come and you want to talk about the implementation of these bills that have been made laws by Mr. President's signatory, I tell you, there's no possibility that it will work. Mr. President's signatory, I tell you, there's no possibility that it will work because INEC is not independent as it is. Until INEC start getting its subvention, that's its budget, from another allocation, just like the NDDC commission, INEC can never be independent. INEC takes orders from the president because the president appoints the head of INEC, and there is no way I will appoint you as an INEC chairman, you will not take orders from me or you not do my bidding.
Don't you think that the appointment of INEC commissioner has nothing to do, or INEC official at all has nothing to do with credibility of elections? Because a lot of people argue, let me finish. A lot of people think that the political players are really to blame because of blame for some of the political woes that happen. For instance, the politicians are the people doing vote buying. It is not INEC. It is the politicians that snatch ballot boxes, that the people who shoot guns, not INEC. So why would the appointments...
So who gives the opportunity of political litigation? It's INEC. INEC is the one who decides to say, I want this function, I want to recognize this function, I don't want to recognize the other function. What matters is there's something called the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act is what was created by the National Assembly to stand as a law guiding the INEC and guiding the politicians who are players of the sector. So by the time the Electoral Act gives power to INEC to participate in an electioneering process by involving political parties, by the powers of the Electoral Act, I don't think we'll have a problem. But for now, we don't see any independence of the INEC. Most especially, we don't see any credibility of this present INEC at the moment, chaired by Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, because he is a disrespecter of the rule of law. He does not respect the laws.
How has he disrespected the rule of law?
The Electoral Act.
Mr. Barry, how has the INEC chairman not respected the rule of law, if I may ask?
By not giving every political group or political organizations the opportunity to play their trade, just like what they've given to the APC and the PDP. Like, for example, the reason why we say we are not trusting the activities of this present INEC is because the NYDP since 2021 made a request to be registered as a political party to participate in the electioneering process by the laws of the Electoral Act, which says when you submit a letter to INEC and under 21 days, INEC is expected to make response. And by the time they don't make response, that political association is deemed to be registered as a political party. We have a lot of political party associations like the NYDP who made a request to INEC, and 21 days passed, no response. We now even give them a reminder letter of another 7 days, which they now responded to a notification letter telling us that we are not qualified to be a party. So right now, the Act gives us the privilege to act as a political party pending when the courts ask INEC to issue us the certificates as the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, binding by the Constitution of the Federation of this country, provides. So now, if the INEC chairman does not respect the powers of the Electoral Act, how will he respect the litigations proceedings by a court? And how will he not do the bidding of the president who appointed him? Why will he not do the bidding of the leadership of the National Assembly who provides approval for his budget? So until the budget of INEC.
Are you, Mr. Barry? Mr. Barry, I know you are.
Not the situation.
Mr. Barry, Mr. Barry, I know you are a politician.
They cannot be independent.
I know you are a politician. That is why you are talking like that. Because somebody listening to you right now would see an element of partisanship in your job.
To understand the politics of Nigeria and where the youth is going. For example, now, my party, the Nigeria Youth Democratic Party, is not interested in the rotation of presidency of any political position like other parties are doing. It's not a constitutional issue and it should not be discussed. We want people who can win elections for us. If it's a Northerner coming from Adamawa that will win election for us, so be it. If it's somebody from Ogoni land that is winning election for us, so be it. We are going to weigh on the activities of the personalities, the credibility, the interest of the capacity and the capability of that person to run. All this gives us the privilege of online. Right now, as I'm talking to you, we have an influence against the media online. It means that the media, 60% of the media is being accused by NYDP of ganging up with the PDP and the APC against the Nigerian youth. They want us to pay for every opportunity we want to use in being online. Like your media now, you have not asked me to pay anything. You invited me because you believe that I am an authority to speak on the activities of INEC.
and its issue of the Electoral Act. But some media will not give you this privilege to speak because they want you to pay. And they know that you don't have the finance that it takes.
So if you now start measuring us to pay the same money PDP and APC is paying, then that shows that you are a gang up against the democracy of Nigeria.
Yes, Mr. Barry, it's good to know that I am not part of any gang up, and ABN as a television is not part and will never be a gang up to anybody. All we need is let
May the Lord bless you for this idea. Yes. May the Lord bless you for your support.
Amen. Let things be done properly. But I just want to set some records straight. Number one is the issue of the fact that Mr. President was not forced by anybody to sign anything into law. You see, one thing about leadership. No, let me
come Are you
now.
Special Assistant?
I am not his
Why
special
did he not sign? The bill was given to him almost 30 days ago. What is holding Mr. President? Does he not have people who he has employed to do the activities of governance?
Let me
finish. Does he not have the General of the Federation who has advised him to sign or not to sign? Does he not have the liaison officer between the National Assembly and the presidency? So why does it have to take 30 days? Why does it have to take that minute for him to sign?
Mr. Barry,
means that he was forced to sign.
It means that he was forced to sign. I am telling you that Mr. President was forced to sign. You cannot tell us that Mr. President was not forced to sign because you are not a special assistant.
Yes.
His media is speak, not you.
No.
But we know that we are in the media and physically in Abuja by the civil society that made Mr. President sign because we said we were going to be on the streets.
Mr. Barry, Mr. Barry, we are a media organization. We have been following the activities of this country, and we follow them bomber to bomber. Mr. President has to explore every option. Take a look at the pros and cons. Take a look at all the pros and cons of everything before he appends his signature. Because you would agree with me that there are times the National Assembly will insert certain things at the middle of a law and present to him to sign. So if he had, in that kind of circumstances, you cannot ask Mr. President to sign something because he wants to please everybody. He has to take some time and then go through the process, read the thing line by line to be able to understand. Because if he signs anything into law by tomorrow, the thing comes back haunting you. It is the same government that you are going to blame. That is number one.
That is why he has employed special assistant
advisors to advise him on it. And advising the president on the Electoral Act in a point that is no more than 10. Should not take more than 48 hours.
That's
what we call negligence of duty.
No, you mention Mr. Barry? Mr. Barry, this is
the wasting of the democracy time of Nigeria.
Mr. Barry,
we are talking about the president who is interested in impunity.
You have to
the lives of his people. We are talking about the president who does not respect the rule of law. We are talking about the president who should put Nigeria first. We're talking about the president who should fix our hospitals. We're talking about the president who travels abroad as if he's traveling to his backyard.
Mr. Barry, if you don't listen to me,
in Nigeria and fix the country.
Mr. Barry, if you don't listen to me, I will be forced to cut you off on the program. You have to listen to me because I am the one in charge. All right? Now, let us leave that and talk about what we came to discuss, because at the end of the day, you will not be able to mention to us who forced Mr. President to sign the bill into law, but that's not where we are going. Now, to address the issue of, I want to explain myself. I told you that elections are not won on the pages of online, on Facebook and Twitter. The statement I made means that at the end of the day, you are going to have...
NYDP has chairman and executive council in all the 774 local government areas in Nigeria. NYDP has chairman and executive in all the wards in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. NYDP has chairman, national chairman in 75 nations across the world.
Mr. Barry, Mr. Barry, Mr. Barry, you need to calm down.
What is happening?
You need to.
NYDP is a political association that metamorphosed into a political party
Mr. Barry,
on the 28th of March 2021.
Mr. Barry,
everyone knows about the NYDP. So for you to say that the NYDP is not known all over Nigeria, that is false. We have already submitted our credentials and our activities to the courts, who has the legal powers and the authority to decide if INEC will give NYDP a certificate or not. And in 60 days, this will come to bear. But the truth remains that our members online alone are up to 100 million, and we are ready to give a showdown to the PDP and the APC to prove that it is time for the Nigerian youth to come out and decide who governs it, who governs him or her.
Mr. Barry, this is a television conversation, and we are supposed to be, talking to each other, but you are not allowing me to make my own contribution. And apart from that, I'm the anchor of the show. You are not. So now you have to listen to the questions I ask you and you respond. First and foremost, is it the responsibility of a political party to lead an NSAS protest? Is that part of the agenda of a political party? That is number one. Then number two, you should know that in this country, elections are not won on the basis of online, on the social media. It is won on ground. So what I am asking you is this. Your political party is not a major political party. I am asking you this question because I know that 2023 elections are coming and you are going to be a part of it. What structures have you put on ground? Because political offices are not handed down, are not given as gifts. You have to work for it. To what extent have you worked to ensure that by 2023 you will give the leading political parties a run for their money?
For me to start this answering, I would like to start from the place where you said we are not a major political party. You can say we are not a major political party in Nigeria because we don't have the certificate to have people to come out and say, I am in this party. It's still an association for now until when that issue of the license to operate and to be on the ballot is given. For the level of the situation where you said we are not in all the states of Nigeria, we are in all the states, and we are not a major political party to you, but to Nigerians who know the NYDP. We are a major political party. We are the third force, and they are afraid of us. That's why they are trying to make sure that we are frustrated by not having the certificate. And in the situation of getting ready to present ourselves on the ballot, our national presidential convention is coming up in some few months' time. In that convention, by the grace of Almighty God, you will be seeing credible young Nigerians who wants to govern this country as governors, as senators, as House of Rep members, as House of Assembly members, and of course as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have a lot of them, and most of our members are still hiding under the PDP and the APC because they are elected under that party. And until INEC provides us a certificate, they cannot come back to a party who is registered. So you are going to be seeing the drama of massive decamping, even from senators, ministers, governors, ambassadors into the NYDP immediately that certificate is issued. So by the time we are measuring up with these people, the Nigerian people will see that the difference between the activities of the real political party has come to Nigeria. This is a political party that has designed itself with the policy of economic agenda And that agenda is called the Good, Better, Best agenda that comes with a non-oil economic recovery. Non-oil economic recovery. We want to look at Nigeria as a country. We want to reboot Nigeria as a computer and build its foundation back on track. As I'm talking to you right now,
Mr. Barry,
we have a list.
Because you're not talking from a neutral point of view, are you?
I am talking from a neutral point of view. For example, now let me give you a breakdown of my person as a politician. I am a professional politician, a practicing politician, a political scientist by academics. So I see myself as an authority, and I entered politics because I want to provide the basic need that the politics of Nigeria deserves. We entered politics because we want to create an enabling environment for the practice of true democracy for Nigeria. INEC is independent only by name, but by action, INEC is not independent. And until the INEC chairman and the commissioners have nothing to do with nomination by the president, INEC will remain not independent.
So
you cannot appoint me
process,
and say I don't have rights to do
Mr.
your
Barry,
bidding. Everyone who is appointed by the president
Mr. Barry, what
must do
process
the bidding of the president.
What process do you think should bring about the appointment of INEC commissioners and national chair?
What is the process that provides an IG, Inspector General of Police of the Nigerian Federation? Hierarchy of work. Do you get it? What provides us the opportunity to have the Chief Justice of the Federation or the Chief Justice of a state? The same capacity is what should be put into the activities of INEC to provide and to produce an INEC chairman and INEC commissioners. For example, the APC government have given opportunity where politicians are pressed into commissionership positions in INEC. We have seen people who carry the APC cards being appointed as commissioners in INEC. So what do you think they want to go there to do? They want to go there to manipulate the system. They want to go there to represent their political party in that perspective.
Mr. Barry, I do not really think, I really do not think that you have a point there. I really do not think that you have your facts. Can you pointedly show one or two INEC commissioners or national chairman that you can prove right now, that he has a political party on the paper?
The professor that has just been appointed from Bayelsa to standing as a commissioner in INEC, the world saw her registration card as being an APC member. It was on every media, even on CNN and BBC. And yet the Senate approved her position as a commissioner, even as a card-carrying member of the APC. There was a petition sent to the Senate on this perspective. It was ignored by the civil society. So what do you want us to do? We cannot support and we cannot accept an INEC that is political. That's why we are saying that any result that this particular INEC presents to Nigerians in 2023 in the situation of the presidential elections will not be accepted until the needful is done.
When you are agitating like this, Mr. Barry, when you are agitating like this, it puts one question on my mind. You know, the political parties in this country are supposed to be a structure-based institution, so to speak.
That's right.
Of course, if you take a look at the All Progressives Congress, it has structures all over the country. If you take a look at the People's Democratic Party, it has structures all over the country. And you are a national chairman of a political party that has not even been heard. As a matter of fact, it's not, majority of the people are not even aware that there is a political party like that in this country. Because when you are talking about political party, let me finish. Like when you are talking about political,
you are not correct at all.
You are
not correct at all. The NYDP is a political party that gained international influence and prominence during the EndSARS saga. This is a political party that kicked off activities during the NSAS saga. We were the ones who said the NSAS should start, and we said it should stop. And we decided to ask our members to carry the protest to the ballot. If the CNN and the BBC and Al Jazeera and the AIT and the Arise know of people we have penciled down to be ministers, to be ambassadors, to be director generals on every perspective of leadership in Nigeria.
Okay, Mr. Barry.
Immediately elections are announced with results giving the NYDP an upper hand.
Yeah, let's leave that until that time when you have finished putting your house in order and you are granted the necessary approvals for you to function as a political party. Then we will see how it pans out. But talking about the reworked version of the electoral bill, which particular provision of all the provisions really makes sense to you, that really makes you feel, okay, this is going to really make elections to be credible?
Well, I think the equipment used for the elections is the beavers are one of the most credible values that we think will add integrity and credibility to the elections, because it's going to be transmitting live as you vote. It will transmit to the central system where collation will start as soon as possible. So if we can have all these viewers working in all the polling stations across Nigeria at the same time, and I think that will give us fast move of announcement and release of election results as quick as possible. And that is a plus to the electoral empire if given opportunity to count.
But given that there are so many arguments in some sections of the country that election network coverage is not really that much in that domain, do you think that the electronic transmission of results in Nigeria would pose a threat to the election itself? Because if it is a very germane reason that it is not every locality that is covered by the network, then it leaves one to wonder what is going to happen to such communities if it will not, the electronic transmission of results will not amount to disenfranchisement of some sort.
That's not true. That's not true. If the network and the NCC has given a go-ahead to the National Assembly and to INEC that they are capable of transmitting these results to the viewers, I don't think any other person saying anything contrary to that it's positive at all. No, I think we have network in every area in this country. If you're talking about the bushes, yes. Correct. We don't hold elections in the bushes. There are some places we don't hold elections where the network cannot do anything. Even on some journey roads in this country have networks. So if the NCC and the network companies have been called by the leadership of the National Assembly to defend that fact that they can provide that network, and I don't see anything wrong about providing the privilege for Nigerians to express themselves. I don't think anybody will be disenfranchised during the election. The election will go well, and I'm very sure that everything will be positive for Nigeria. Most especially, they should make sure that the internet is on. Like you said in your earlier question, you said elections are not won online. Let me tell you one thing about the politics of Nigeria. Nigeria has graduated in politics like the way the United States and Britain and France is today. Anybody who says elections are not won online does not understand politics. Elections are won by campaign. And online plays 85% of campaign across the world. You cannot tell us that being online has no influence in the activities of electioneering process across the world. Nigeria just caught on the euphoria of the activities of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We saw what we did with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram during the NSAS. We saw what we also did with it in mobilizing the civil society for the president to sign the Electoral Act. Without the internet, without the online influence, new media, we wouldn't be able to campaign against bad leadership in Nigeria. The NSAS movement is just a yardstick of what the online social media can do in the mobilization of the mass media of the people towards a particular goal. We have decided to play host to using the online because we have seen the effect that it has caused. If it's not online, today Abba Kyari will not be arrested. If it's not online, the civil society will not be able to do influence on the activities of forcing Mr. President to sign, because Mr. President was forced to sign the Electoral Act by the activities online of protesters.
Mr. Barry,
instead of coming to the street and stopping people from moving ahead.
If you don't give the figure, it leaves one to wonder whether or not what you're saying is not a false statement. But that is just by the way. The issue I am asking is that how do we ensure that this particular law that has been signed by Mr. President is going to guarantee the independence of INEC? Because at the end of the day, okay, I took a look at some of the provisions that have been made available, and of course one of them is that INEC has the powers to review election results if such announcements were made under duress. And for me, that is a very good thing, because a lot of times politicians have been accused of making INEC officials to announce results on duress. So what is provisions like this make me to now know, and every other Nigerian to know, that INEC has some powers now to exercise and take full control of elections. So, but will politicians allow them, to exercise this function the way it should be exercised independently? That is the last question I have for you.
Well, I think you have said a lot about the independence of INEC and the powers of the Electoral Act that has just been signed into law. And I still want to run back to what we have said before. Like I told you, I said INEC cannot be independent without a new system of appointment approved by the National Assembly. The president cannot appoint an INEC chairman and you want him to be independent. All the new laws have been signed into power now. They are all good. They are all positive to the development of our democracy. But the fact is that they cannot be obeyed. They cannot be brought to reality because of the non-independence of the personnel of INEC. A commissioner who is appointed as a card-carrying member of a political party will do the bidding of that political party that nominated him or her into that position. So until we fix the right places, put the right peg into the right positions, it cannot work for Nigeria. But although this is already a process of reaching that end, and in the interim, we have already a process on ground. Maybe the next government or administration that will come, that will be provided by the NYDP to Nigerians, will fix all that, because we are going to be looking at the rebooting of Nigeria as a country. We are going to be looking at the building of institutions, democratic institutions, most especially institutions like INEC. So practically, INEC's independence is practically dichotomized on the issues of appointment of the chairman and its commissioners. So by the time we have commissioners appointed by the hierarchy of position and experience, then we'll have INEC chairman who will do the right thing and commissioners who will do the right thing at the right time.
Okay, so
I think we should find a way to provide INEC the opportunity to serve Nigeria well. In the situation of recounting results, recalling results, and that have been announced under duress, oh my, this is going to be a big trouble for our electioneering process, because a lot of them will provide the litigation power to recall results and re-announce results and cancel results in favor of those who can pay the biggest funding. Because we cannot say INEC activities does not have anything to do with the influence of transfer of fees by politicians and by the government.
Okay, so
we cannot say so. We have seen professors who have been appointed as staff by INEC, and at the end of the day collected money to influence results themselves. So it leaves Nigeria with the opportunity of having an INEC that will collect money from
the highest bidder and cancel result and announce the person they prefer.
Mr. Barry, thank you very much. Thank you very much. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, everything you have said about, especially the last part of that statement you've just made, is entirely your own opinion, and of course you cannot allow or expect somebody to accept that which you have said, except you will be able to prove to me, because if I ask you again how many people in INEC have been collecting money, you will say you don't have the figures. So we
have the figures.
You don't have the figures. I'm not sure you have the figures, Mr. Barry, but thank you very much for being on the show today.
You don't know about the professor that went to jail?
The professor that went to jail told you he collected money? All right.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
He pleaded guilty and there was evidence against him and he was sentenced to jail. What are you talking about?
There is going to be another opportunity. There is going to be another. Professors who are sent to monitor elections are not INEC staff. Understand that first.
He was not sent to monitor election. He was sent as a returning officer.
Thank you very much. A returning officer is not an INEC staff. So, however you want to put it, he is a professor. Yes.
So the people.
All right, Mr. Barry. Thank you very much for giving us your time this morning. And of course, you have been the first national chairman, Nigeria Youth Democratic Party. A very thank you to you for sparing us your time this morning, and looking forward to having you on the show in the future. But I want to believe that the next time you come, you will have all the statistics, all the figures. If you want to mention amount of money and accuse people of taking such monies, you must be able to bring proofs, because at the end of the day, you will need to properly inform and educate anybody. And of course, we need unity in the country, we need love, we need togetherness. We don't need politics of bitterness and agitations. We need politics that is going to bring development and prosperity to the country. So I must thank you so very much as I leave you now. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of that segment. It was indeed a very troubling moment for us here in the studios, but I like it. This is one part of this job that I love so much, because different character, different people, and ways of handling issues. But it's all good. That is what we face at the end of the day, just to bring information to you. We take a short break. When we come back, we will have an opportunity to speak with somebody else on another interesting issue. Please don't go away. Social media, but at the end of the day, when it is time to really physically come out to a polling booth to vote, those online people don't usually come. And
they might not wait to see whether this time they are going to come out.
That is what I'm saying. Until they come out, then we will know that elections are won online. But for now, elections are won with votes, and everybody's entitled to only one vote.
ABN, can I tell you the reason why most people who are supporters of a political machinery
don't come out to vote on election day? Can I tell you the reason why?
Oh, go ahead.
The reason why they don't come out is because they don't trust the system. The system needs to build trust in the heart of the people. The Nigerian people are pragmatic people. Nigerian people are strong people. Nigerian youth are the best youth we can find anywhere across the world. Nigerian youths can survive anywhere. All they need is a lead. And they have gotten the lead on the NYDP as their own political party, where forms are not sold to anybody to contest elections. To contest, you just present yourself. Your credibility will speak for you. The Nigerian youth are ready to come out on election day because they have a lead in the NYDP.
And by the time the election comes, you will see the people who have never voted in their life will come out to vote because they want a true democracy for Nigeria. They change. They want a real young person to lead Nigeria. We have seen young people lead Nigeria in Ukraine. We have seen young people lead Nigeria in France and lead their countries. And we want to see same in Nigeria. We have these people. So this is the first time we are going to be seeing an election that will shock the world. Nigerians are ready. Our youths are ready. We just need somebody to mobilize them. For example, now let me give you an information that a lot of people don't know anything about. If you go back to the budget of INEC, if you check how much INEC has received in the voters' education, you will be marveled. But where have we seen the voter education? Where have you seen INEC come out to campaign and inform Nigerian youth and Nigerians to understand the activities of the electioneering process? They are not doing nothing. They are leaving everything to the political party to do. If they are giving some version to the political party on this perspective, it could have been better. But they abolished that idea because they don't want to give funding to political parties. The funding political parties get in other countries are being used for the education of their voters' membership to participate in the electioneering process. Right now, remember that Nigeria is running a bastardized economy over the years of military rule.
All right, Mr. Barry, listen and answer this question. Listen first. How much you have mentioned that the Independent National Electoral Commission has collected a huge sum of money for voter education. How much actually, according to the report you've seen?
I cannot remember because I don't want to give a false information.
Then how do you know the hugeness of the sum? How did you know the hugeness of the sum of the money if you're not sure? How much is it? We need to know how huge it is. Mr. Barry, Mr. Barry, you also have had the information before coming to the media.
The budget for electioneering process.
Mr. Barry, can you listen to me first? You see, this is a national television. So what we are doing here is to give people facts and figures and statistics. If according to you, INEC has collected a huge sum of money, we would like to find out, for the benefit of Nigerians, how much exactly is this huge sum?
I cannot say how much because I don't want to give a false information, but it's a huge amount. You can find it yourself or I can send it to you after the program so that you can let Nigerians know in your subsequent bulletin. But for now, I cannot give an information I don't have, but it's a huge amount of money and we have not seen INEC use it for anything. So, moreover, who is the person that runs the auditing of INEC? Who? After elections, INEC, do they report to anybody that this how much was spent, this how much was spent, this how we spent it? No. So until we have all this on ground, Nigeria cannot have an independent INEC. Remember, your topic is about the independence of INEC. And until we have all these broken down values about INEC, INEC will always remain a tool of anyone who becomes president of Nigeria.
Okay,
now, if you appoint an INEC chairman, you will control him.
Yes.
If you approve an INEC budget, you will control the organization, and that's what we have seen so far. So, practically speaking, I'll only tell you that our members who are online are ready to come out to show themselves on election day because they have a lead in the NYDP.
Mr.
And I tell you, you will come back and report
Mr. Barry,
to the world through your medium that the people who really came out for the first time in their life have never voted before.
Mr. Barry.
Yes, sir.
You see, situations like this continue to make people...
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, situations like this continue to make people that some of the people who make statements make so as a result of whatever sentiment. And I don't know if you can now see that some of the information churned out on the social media are not verifiable information. Because you just mentioned to
Yes,
us
that's
here,
true.
I'm going to stay there for a bit. You just mentioned to us that the huge amount of money that INEC is receiving to run the voter education is very large and all that. And we are requiring to know how much it is. You've not been able to provide that answer. Then, if somebody can accuse you...
Because I'm on air now, I cannot check now.
No, it
I'm
is,
on air.
yes.
I cannot check. I can't do two things at the same time.
I think you should have every information at the tip of your finger so that you
Of
properly
course.
educate Nigerians, because this is television. And,
I don't have the real figure right now, so I cannot give you false information.
One thing about the media, especially the electronic media, is that our audience is heterogeneous. People listen to you from different perspectives, from different cultures and backgrounds, and there are some people who are going to buy that thing you just said. But